KREM 2 News at Noon begins now.
Bryan Kohberger back in court today fighting against more restitution payments. Coming up next, we have an update on his appearance.
And we've got another wet and breezy day here in the inland northwest, but coming up in our full forecast, we'll touch on when we could see things drying out.
And at this hour, we are taking a look at election results in some of the major races all across the inland northwest. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here on KREM 2 News at Noon. I'm Laura Papetti. We begin with this coming in new this afternoon. A ruling has not yet been issued for Bryan Kohberger after his hearing today. Right now, a judge is determining whether or not he is responsible for additional restitution payments. Now, this is the man serving 4 life sentences for killing 4 University of Idaho students. His July plea agreement says Kohberger already agreed to pay funeral costs and reimburse the Crime Victim Compensation Fund. That's about $29,000. Plus, he has to pay more than $250,000 in criminal fines and fees. Now the state wants him to pay another $27,000. That would cover the travel and hotel expenses for 2 of the students' families. In court today, his defense team argued that Kohberger is unable to pay any more. We'll let you know when the judge makes his ruling. It is 1 minute past noon right now, and we're going to take a pause on the day's news and talk about the day's weather and what we can expect later this afternoon. We have Brandon T. Jones in today for Thomas. Brandon, what do you know?
Yeah, well, what we know, Laura, is that it's wet, it's breezy out there, and temperature is going to be ranging roughly around low 50s for our high. I love this shot as we take a look over Silver Mountain, though, because it really gives you everything that we love, right, about the inland northwest. You see the beautiful fall colors with the trees and also a little bit of that snow up there on the mountains. Expecting more of that snow as well, those higher elevated areas such as Mount Spokane, Silver Mountain. You all have been getting a little bit more of that snow, so that's continuing in our forecast. More mountain snow, more rain here on the lower elevated areas, such as here in Spokane. And also expecting a breezy fall day. It's one of those days where I think it's just, the perfect fall forecast, right? You're getting a little bit of those wet conditions, but also those breezy conditions too, dropping all the leaves off. But by this weekend, all those leaves that fall might be the perfect opportunity to get outdoors and rake them up. Again, we're going to be back in the 50s today. Our forecasted highs kind of similar all across the inland northwest. Lots of low 50s, lots of upper 40s. As for right now, our current temperature, we're looking at 44 degrees. You see a little bit of those raindrops out there as you make your way out and about. And then also winds, again, breezy, moving around 10 miles per hour. Hinted at some of those drier conditions, though. We're going to get into that in our full forecast. That's going to be coming up here in just a few moments.
Cheers and excitement last night. That's from supporters of the Together Spokane initiative as they saw those initial ballot returns. Together Spokane is the partnership between parks and schools. So let's take a look at the numbers. First, the $240 million parks levy right now, that's passing by 54%. Remember, a levy only needs a simple majority of at least 50% to pass. So let's take a look now at the Spokane Public Schools bond. It is also passing with almost 61% voting yes. However, bonds need 60% approval in order to pass. So we are certainly monitoring this one closely as the county counts more votes. Park and school leaders already know exactly what projects they'll jump in on if the vote does indeed end up going their way.
We want to get at least the first round of additional park rangers on board the first quarter of 2026 to get them hired out in our parks, out in our community for proactive patrolling. We'll have a series of new restroom facilities and playgrounds that will be installed. And then the first new park in Meadow Glen, North Indian Trail, will start construction in 2026.
Spokane Public Schools also has plans on the horizon if, again, that initiative passes. So here's a look at the race for Spokane City Council. We are starting with District 3. Current council member Zach Sapone is running against Christopher Savage, and right now Sapone is leading with 55% of the vote. Taking a look at the race for District 2, where newcomers Kate Tellis and Alejandro Barrientos are running for the open council seat. As of right now, Tellis taking a big lead with 61% of those votes. Meantime, Barrientos has about 39%. All right, now taking a look at the closest race for city council. This is district number 1. Candidate Sarah Dixit is taking on incumbent Jonathan Bingle. Right now, Dixit is only trailing Bingle by 202 votes. So we continue to track that at this hour. And you can see more election results on the ticker throughout the day. We'll be putting those up. And also you can see the results coming in on KREM.com. We do have an update for you today. A jury found the Spokane man accused of assaulting a Border Patrol agent. They found him not guilty. Martin Diaz was accused of elbowing an agent in the eye during a struggle at his Spokane home earlier this year. The security camera footage outside the home captured the incident, and his family says he has been working to get his visa. He's also been fighting against a deportation order from an assault charge he had as a teenager. A judge has ordered the U.S. Marshals Service to release him. We are hearing from the family of a woman who was hit and killed over the weekend in Okanogan County, just outside of Brewster. The family of Annette Gore says they are still trying to wrap their heads around what happened. Washington State Patrol says she was hit by 3 different drivers while walking in the middle of US 97. Her family says she did typically walk everywhere since she did not have a license. WSP says the first driver tried to avoid Gore but was not able to do so. That driver stayed on scene. Now, while waiting for law enforcement to arrive, Gore was hit by 2 other drivers. One they are still looking for.
So I knew it was her, so we jumped in the vehicle and went down there. It was difficult. We had to check for a pulse because nobody had done that yet. And it was hard.
WSP says at this time they are not currently seeking charges in this case. However, they do say that could change. Anyone with information should call the number at the bottom of your screen. The Grant County Jail found an inmate dead inside a special cell that was for people in crisis. The Grant County Sheriff's Office says he was the only one inside the cell. Staff tried to perform life-saving measures. However, those did not work. The Central Basin Investigative Team is now looking into it and investigating. The inmate was originally booked into the jail on October 31st. The search and rescue continues for a plane crash in Kentucky. The cause of that crash still under investigation. Coming up in 2 minutes, we'll let you know what we know so far. But first, let's take a moment, take a live look outside. As you look into the mountains, you can see that snow there and gray skies. Lower here, things are pretty dry, but a little bit gray today. We'll have more coming up with Brandon T. Jones.